On the committee when we did the executive search, and we had a young lady here in town, Sheila Hennessy, that was leading that up for us as a consultant, and she did a kind of a worldwide, threw out the net pretty wide and got a ton of applicants, as you might imagine. And she brought us 10, and we said, that's too many to interview. How do we get it down to 6? And it was a tough choice because we at that time eliminated some people that you might even want to talk to. And then those 6, and to be real honest, there was a couple people along with Scott that were qualified, but Scott stood out. He was in another zip code as far as I was concerned, and I think the rest of the committee is concerned. He came out of YMCA, David Duro and Jim Everett gave him a lot of knowledge as he came along, and so I think we've got the best guy at this particular point in time that this organization could have, and it's a pleasure for me to introduce Scott Curtis.
I'm glad that pretty soon I won't be new, so that can stop. I thank you all for being here. Just so you know, in case you're anxious, I am your last speaker. So in about 30 minutes, we'll be cutting this ribbon. In just a few moments, we'll cut the ribbon on this incredible facility behind us, and really on the whole phase 1 of the campus. So many of you have made this possible, and I add my thanks. And I don't even know who some of you are. I'm a little late to this party, honestly, and I'm getting way more credit than I deserve, which is really none for what's happened here. It's really the predecessors and the staff, volunteers and donors around you that have made this happen. But it certainly is my privilege to be up here thanking you and acknowledging this incredible day. As Rick was saying, the dream kind of comes true on this campus, and this completion of phase 1 truly is a marvel. Equine-assisted therapy and other programs that we can offer here will now take place in the most state-of-the-art environment around and year-round. And we know the impacts are possible and powerful. Imagine a young person who's shut down, seemingly unable to communicate after the death of her father, finding a safe space and companion in a horse, and being drawn out by that relationship and the skilled therapist at her side. Think about an adolescent struggling with peer issues, getting some non-threatening but very valuable feedback on his communication from an animal that's incredibly perceptive. And what about families maybe struggling with communication issues and anger, working through their biggest challenges by tackling the tasks given to them by their therapist for working together with a giant animal? I wish you could have seen our board demonstration this morning and seen the power of equine-assisted therapy with a group. And hopefully some of you will consider that in the future for some of your organizations. There's a lot more to talk about in terms of equine-assisted therapy, and we have staff here that are going to be delighted to share that with you on your tours, as well as materials that you can take with you. This is much more than the ribbon cutting of the Equestrian Center behind me. Today is a statement for Idaho's most vulnerable youth and families, and particularly a statement that these kind of facilities and opportunities should be accessible to all. This is an asset for Idaho, one which we at Idaho Youth Ranch fully intend to expand and grow. Indeed, we are already working on the next phase, which will bring long-term residential care on this campus back to Idaho Youth Ranch. Did you know that right now, so many of Idaho's most vulnerable youth that need residential care are sent out of the state of Idaho for other states to care for, long from their families and their parents? We're going to continue to work to change that, and you'll hear more about that in the months to come, and we expect to see all of you here at another ribbon cutting one day. But let me get back to today. Let's celebrate phase 1. This equestrian center, the support areas, the outdoor arena, which is down there, and the campus infrastructure are an awesome statement of the kind of services we can and will provide for Idaho's youth and families. It's also a statement of partnership, and we know that we're only scratching the surface so far of the partnerships that can happen out here, so I hope some of you Right now, we're standing there and dreaming of how we might partner for Idaho's youth and families. Our partners with Ride for Joy are here. They'll be locating their headquarters on this campus, and we'll work together to share the space, herd, and overhead while expanding the reach of both our organizations. We really look forward to the many partnerships that are going to be added in the months and years to come. In addition to that, it's a statement of generosity that you all have shown. When so many young people are facing challenges, your support here says that they are not someone else's kids. They are Idaho's kids. They are our kids. I can't thank all of the donors enough, as well as the volunteers who've made this possible from the very beginning, from looking at the property to supporting our task force to being on our board to installing the solar farm. By the way, Alan said if anybody wants to see that solar farm, which is incredibly impressive, over by those balloons when we're done, he's happy to take you on a tour. The name of this campus is so appropriate. Hands of Promise. It represents all of our hands, working across this great state, sometimes working independently, but nevertheless joined together, making a powerful statement that together we will step up to support the youth and families of Idaho who need us most. And that's why you're all here today. Thank you. Your hands are joined with ours. And make no mistake, we need that. It will take all of us. As the mayor said in his proclamation, in this great state of Idaho, we can and must do better. Many of you have heard of the adverse childhood experiences, that short list of traumatic incidents in childhood that cause trauma and have significant correlation to negative lifetime outcomes. This great state of Idaho ranks in the top third of all states for the number of children experiencing that trauma. We must do better. This wonderful state is consistently toward the top of the charts for youth suicide rates. We really must do better. And how can we do better? Well, there's a lot of ways. There's a pamphlet here today talking about us, but it's not just about the Youth Ranch. It's about all of us giving our time, telling the story, joining this fight, and supporting the mission in various ways. So I ask you to commit to naming these challenges, exposing them, and talking about them, and then work to change them. Advocate, build partnerships, volunteer, work together with the schools, the health systems, the churches, the other nonprofits, right, and all of our partners. And most importantly, find a young person to mentor, love, and support. If you can, donate. Every dollar means additional ways that we can extend our arms to wrap around these kids and families. All of those things will help to reduce our youth experiencing trauma. So I thank you in advance for the efforts you're going to put forward. But as long as we have youth who are in need, who have slipped through those safety nets, who are suffering the results of trauma, and wanting to courageously stand up and confront them and take on their lives to a better place, they'll need our services. And Idaho Youth Ranch is here. We will join them, providing the care and support they need to find hope, healing, and resilience. So a few other thank yous, and then we'll cut this ribbon. First of all, to all of you in attendance, thank you for this outpouring of support today. This is really marvelous. I believe it's truly an outpouring of support for Idaho's youth, the most vulnerable youth of our state, and their families. Thanks to Rick Aylis for those words, and for everyone who's been a part of this project. I'd also add Todd Weltner from our board, who's been Rick's sidekick through everything happening on the property and the construction. Rick shared some of our history, so did Gary, but I have to say thanks to those who have come before the history of this campus even began. For Reverend Crow and his wife Ruby, who founded us over 66 years ago. To the staff, leaders, and board members over the last 6 decades, whose vision and tireless efforts all are part of today. To Steve Woodworth, who was CEO when this property was purchased, and whose imprint is present all over this place. Steve, are you here?
Yes.
All right, where's Steve? Wait. All right. And to Jason Fry, where are you? Who provided significant guidance and leadership in the last 18 months. Thank you. And now I'll try to get through this part. To the Idaho Youth Ranch staff team. What an incredible 3.5 months I've had getting to know you all. I am so proud of the incredible staff represented here today, and I'm humbled to be a part of it. From all of our operations across this state, from Idaho Falls, all across the southern part of Idaho, all the way to Ontario and north, to Lewiston, Coeur d'Alene, and Post Falls. All of our store managers are here today from across Idaho. We thank them for the incredible mission that happens in their stores and our distribution centers. It's so much more than you all realize. In addition to providing financial support, they provide incredible mission work with youth, volunteers, community engagement, workforce development, and so much more. We have program staff here from our adoptions program, from Micah Meadows, our Center for Equine Assisted Therapy in North Idaho, from our outpatient counseling teams in North Idaho and the Treasure Valley, for those who work in our Youth Works program and alumni services and volunteer services, from our incredible team at Hayes Shelter Home, and our administrative teams and those who work in our distribution center. 425 staff strong across this state working for this mission. And finally, and then we'll applaud, to the gray-shirted wonders working out here at Hands of Promise campus. What a place of healing and hope you all are providing. Some of you are starting to think that 30 minutes wasn't a joke. Just about there. So while we're thanking our staff, those working and volunteering for IYO know that there are families behind all of us, and this is usually a collective effort. So I'd like to thank my wife Kathleen and my family, and on behalf of the staff, thank all of our families who are present here today and those across the state of Idaho who support this mission. We certainly stand on your shoulders. And I pause and say one more thank you, the most important part of this story. To the youth we serve and their families. We can provide so much, but you are the ones who do the difficult work, finding the courage and strength to accept our hands, to overcome your challenges, and move into the future that holds so much promise. Thank you for inspiring us every day. And that's what today is all about, promise. And this promise is what we all must make. A community of hands all across Idaho who believe in the promise of youth and all that they may become. As we get ready to open this great facility, I ask everyone here to extend a hand. Like this. Extend a hand right there. And we thank and we bless these hands. Keep them up. We thank and we bless these hands that touch life, these hands that guide children, these hands that celebrate and clap for joy, that give refuge to pain, that embrace with passion, and that clench with rage at injustice, that plant seeds in the earth and human beings, that clean, wash, cook, and care for others, and that open to receive others. Thank these hands and bless these hands that carry the promise of the future. And now I ask Susan Visser to come forward. She's the director of the Hands of Promise campus. And she's going to share with us some of our logistics for getting this ribbon cut and then starting the tours. While Susan comes up, I ask you to help me with the final thank you. There's a small army of folks who have worked to make today possible. Stacy, who oversees all of our events, and the team, Mel and Scott and Leslie, Susan, Jeff, Whitney, and Emily in marketing, and everyone else who contributed today. You have given us all a day that we will remember. Thank you very much.
So Scott wasn't kidding when he said he's the last speaker. I am no speaker. You know the end of the big event is coming soon when you see the ribbon. But thank you all again for coming today. You know, after the ribbon is cut, it's a tradition for everyone who is attending the ribbon cutting to sign the ribbon, and we'd love if you would do that today. It'll be on a table right over here. And if you'll sign it to commemorate for us your attendance and support, we'd appreciate it. Tours of the center, the equestrian center, and the barn, and the outdoor arena, and the Ride for Joy building will start again right after the ribbon cutting, and you can join a tour at the table with the red tablecloth inside the lobby. Please be our guest for some delicious frozen yogurt. And finally, right after the ribbon cutting, we'll be honoring the donors who were mentioned by Gary earlier, starting in the lobby and also in other places around the building. So if you'd like to be a part of that celebration, please come on into the lobby right after the ribbon cutting. So the big moment is here. Would the Hands of Promise campus team please come up here to help us with the ribbon cutting? Here they are. As well as the campus team, we would love to have the donors that Gary mentioned earlier come up and help us with the ribbon cutting. So Nancy and Rob, Armacost family, any one of the donors who are here, we'd love to have you up here with us. Marianne Colas. Any of our board of directors, we'd love to have you here too. And there will be some people left in the audience to watch, I promise. Absolutely, most importantly, the Idaho Youth Ranch is about youth. I know there's some kids here. We would love to have the Girl Scouts come up and any other young people who are able, and their parents if they need to accompany them. We'd love to have you come up and help us hold the ribbon while we cut it. So we'll wait for you to have time to get up here while we stretch the ribbon out. Are any, oh no, look how short it is. Are there any other, any other kids? I see some over here. Come on over. We'd love to have you up here in front. Yeah, get your finger on it. And Scott will keep the scissors far away from your fingers, I promise. I promise. All right, Scott's going to cut the ribbon for us.
You ready? All right, here we go.
Hold tight. Thank you all again. Please have frozen yogurt, take a tour, sign the ribbon.